Hi from Chiang Mai. It's Suzie again with one more diary to close up 2025. And I don't know about you, but what a huge year it's been spiritually. It's been a belter, as we say in Scotland, an absolute belter. And here we are, nearing the end, the last few days of 2025. And I'm not big into the Gregorian calendar, but there is still an energetic kind of container for each year with the numbers of the year. Although saying that, in Thailand, it's a completely different calendar. This is the year 2568 because the year zero is from when the Buddha became enlightened. So I didn't know that until we got here. So we're in the future. Me and Wilson are good 500 years into the future, just to let you know that. That's what's happening. So here I am with another backdrop, still on the move, but we'll be in Chiang Mai for another couple of weeks, and then we're going to Vietnam, so that'll be a completely different experience again. And it's been, just ignore background noises, there's so many noises here. Or just welcome them. Ignore them or welcome them. That's what I tend to do, one or the other. So I really wanted to do one more diary for the year, and also to follow through with how I left off last time, because the last diary I did I was in a difficult spot. I was going through a really sticking point, a sore point in my process, and I was a bit stuck, and I needed to move it forward, and that's why I did the video. And let's just say it had the desired effect. After I did the video and put out the video, the very next day, the alchemical process just like shot forward into the next chapter and the next things that I needed to address and look at. It didn't muck about, it did not waste any time. Our soul, my soul, the process we're in. I basically committed to the fact I was ready, and then the universe responded. So the very next day I got a really big surge of energy, and I booked my next appointment that I was reluctant to book. I booked it the next morning. I was like, just do it. And then me and Wilson, in our kind of conversations that we have that morning, the next thing for me to address just became immediately evident, because I got so triggered just by one particular thing, or what Wilson had said. We were talking about, I was talking about that amphibian aspect of me that was coming through and wanting to become more present. Wilson, in fact, no, I said that it reminded me on the Ninja Turtles, because that aspect's kind of humanoid frog. It's a humanoid amphibian aspect in me that I'm reconnecting with and seeing. It's an amazing thing. I've done some drawings, but anyway, I said, it's a bit like the Ninja Turtles, but different. And Wilson described how the kind of early stages of how the Ninja Turtles were made in a lab, not manufactured, but basically almost like super soldiers. And it just, even when I say it again now, it just struck me. I was like, oh shit. I basically had to shut down the conversation. I was so triggered by that super soldier being kind of adapted in a lab technologically and turned into something different, like hybridized and stuff. It just touched on all these new topics and all these new themes for me to like process, ones that I just hadn't been ready to process, I guess, in terms of the SSP and any other context that I've experienced that in. But these diaries are quite particular to SSP memories. So I find that very triggering, but immediately then it was like, right, Suzie, you need to now address the super soldier aspect of this. You need to address you need to just face that. I've had a lot of resistance around that, and I've had a lot of resistance around listening to James Rink's Super Soldier Talk channel, because even the words super soldier, I just find that so triggering. But all of a sudden it was like, okay, the door's open. You now have to access James Rink's material. You have to listen to things about cyborgs. I listened to an interview I couldn't listen to maybe 9 months ago, but I'd saved it. It was Rebecca Rose and Michael Sala, and Rebecca talking about her upbringing, her family involvement in her SSP things and cyborg, and her super soldier kind of programming. But she was a psychic super soldier in that context, in her lived experience of it. So I just basically, that same day, the following day after the last video, I had to then dive into that area of SSP and feel the bits that were there for me to feel in that area. Because I'd broken through a kind of fear barrier or something, and I was able to access the next pool of information and the next energetic arena, if you like, of memory inside me and outside me. Whenever I listen to other people share their own experiences of these things, I let it filter through me, and I just wait to feel what I get a physical, tangible kind of reaction to, and then I'm like, okay, because a lot of these memories are actually in my body. They're cellular memories. They're deep. They're not my mind is being compartmentalized and mind wiped, but it's really fascinating what bits of me have the memory. And also, not just that, but what bits of creation have the memory of me, because I wasn't out there alone. I wasn't in the programs alone. I was interacting with a lot of different beings, a lot of different species, people, humans, other races, and also technologies and other life forms, and they hold the memories of what happened as well, because I was interacting with them. We actually co-created it together, so I've been exploring in my being sort of where the memories are, and where at least I can kind of access them. And also, like I say, because it was a collaborative experience, the whole thing, which other beings might hold pieces of the puzzle for me as well. And also just creation itself, like reality itself holds the memory, because it was holding the whole experience. And also, I've realized Mother Earth holds the memory, because she was watching me the whole time. She's with me every second of every day. She's with me, and if I'm aware of it or not, it doesn't matter. She's watching. She's like a mother. She's watching. We're connected on a heart-soul level. So Mother Earth also knows about my experiences off-world in that context, because that's what I'm focusing on at the moment in my process. And so there's a few different ways I'm realizing to actually tap into the overall experience I've had out there over the years. And I'm realizing it's going to take me quite a while to unfold this. I'm going in it really concentrated right now, because I suppose that's what I need to do. It's being asked of me to do that. But there's more to me than being in the SSP. It's like the SSP fits into my soul's journey, my universal journey. It's part of it. But when you're in it, facing it, feeling it, trying to heal and recover, and it feels like it's absolutely everything. And I've had to allow it to become everything, to really extract and really connect properly with what's been going on in there for me. I've had to kind of allow myself to become absorbed in that space, even though it's really been not the most pleasant thing to do. I've really had to allow myself to take the guards down, allow myself to remember, and actually move through layers and layers and layers. And every time I move through a layer, I release the energy that's been stored and suppressed in me not remembering. And I move through energetic suppression, and I move through lies. Lies is a really, really big topic for me at the moment in my process, working through lies and deceptions, because there's so many. I mean, it's a secret space program. It's secretive. It's hidden by its nature. It functions and it thrives on its secrecy, and that's why there's so much against people talking about it publicly, because it just defies its sense of power and its sense of control over us, which is an illusion really anyway, but still it thrives on this version of secrecy and lies. And I've also had to face the level of the lies that I've been living, and the versions of the lies. See, it's, how can I describe it? With just one example, with the compartmentalization, the fracturing of the consciousness through trauma, I talked about in another video, that is an artificial, pain-induced fracturing. And so every single altar that gets programmed in that context is a lie. It's not a naturally occurring thing, it's an artificially forced thing, which mostly goes against my true nature. So all those bits of me that are programmed, all those altars in me, they're all lies. They're me, but they're lies. They're not true versions of me, and that's really painful to realize the extent of the lie that I've been living as these different altars is amazing. It's a really, really deep process to face. So many fragmented bits of myself, and I'm not going to go into details. I've remembered more. I've remembered more of my altars, and I've remembered more of my activities that I've been doing in these programs. I've been remembering more, and I've been getting to the point of where it's like, what in the overall picture of my life, what is this teaching me? You go through stages with this kind of recall. You go through a kind of trauma shock when you first realise, and it starts to dawn on you that you actually have been involved in this and you're not making it up, and you start to believe yourself. You stop kidding yourself that it's just a fantasy or it's not actually real. I've kind of for a long time thought, I've kind of believed it as a possibility. I'm like, yeah, that's possible. And I've kind of like left it there. But for it to go from a possibility to an actuality, it's really different. And I've had to move through the kind of safety denial thing of it being a possibility, to the lived truth of it being a reality. So that involves moving through shock and trauma and a lot of that kind of energy. I'd say that's some of the first stages of what it's like when you start truly recalling this stuff. Yeah, and it's gradual. And then you start to heal the pain of it. You start to process whatever blame or resentment or suppressed feelings you have around that. And then the next stage from my experience is kind of like learning to accept that I've chosen it, that I'm not a victim, that I actually chose to have all those experiences. And then you kind of transition from blame to realizing it was a choice. And then I have to feel how I feel about myself then, because then there's really no one to blame as such except me. So then I have to face myself and go, right, I chose that. I chose all that and I participated in all that. And a lot of it really unsavory stuff, really distorted stuff. So then you kind of have to work through that with yourself for a while, is a stage that I would say is a deep and challenging stage. They all are, but that one's pretty tough the more you remember. And then recalling and integrating alters. A really important stage, really important stage of withdrawing consent and retracting energy and ending contracts officially, reuniting with lost aspects of yourself, and getting your spirit energy back, getting your light back, all of this kind of thing. I've worked a lot on that, and I've recently started doing closures again. This closure process, amazing process that we learned through doing courses with George Kavassilas, who we've worked with for a number of years now. So profound, such deep, beautiful wisdom, and coupled with that, practical tools, amazing practical tools that George has brought through to help us empower ourselves and regain our sovereignty. And the closure process is something we've used over a number of years, but I had not been doing it in an official way, if you like. I'd been doing it organically with the SSP experience, but the past month I've been sitting down and doing the actual closure process officially as how we learned it. I adapt it to my own way, but doing the actual official practice, if you like, the spiritual process, closure, brilliant, amazing. That's helped a lot. And another thing, I seem to be doing a bit of a recap here. Another thing I learned and a new experience I had in this overall process was learning to reach out to people for help. Because the deeper I've delved into this, the more overwhelmed I've become. It's really been like opening out a seriously large and energetically full arena that I wasn't actually prepared. I wasn't actually prepared for everything that I have unveiled. If I'm perfectly honest, if I could do this process again, I would make sure I had a little bit more stability in my life before going to such intense depths inside my being and not having the right container. I've been trying to do all this work in hotels and guest houses, and basically began my sessions just before we completely sold our house, gave away 90% of my belongings, changed my entire life to an unrecognizable level. And then I, at the same time, started delving into this SSP experience. I mean, talk about full on. It's completely turning myself inside out in every way all at once. And I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. If you, I mean, it must be what I've needed, that level of extremity, but oh my goodness. Yeah, I would advise, if you can, possibly, I know life's never that perfect or neat and tidy, but if you're gonna go into this deep process of remembrance with your multidimensional SSP involvement and integrating altars and everything that's involved, I would recommend having a safe space in your life, some semblance of stability if you can, and somewhere you can integrate and process everything, because I haven't had that, and it's made it so challenging, on top of what I'm already challenged to remember. But this is how I've done it, and yes, it got to the point where I was losing my shit. I couldn't contain it anymore, and I had to reach out for extra help. I got, during one really intense, what would you call it? Remembrance, embodiment, reenactment, or reliving of something traumatic. I got a vision of 2 or 3 people that I know, and I after a while I decided I needed to reach out and contact them, and I think that would be my number one thing. Don't do it alone if you can. You know, try and find people, and more than just one person. Try and find people, you know, that can actually, you can talk to, because putting all your energetic hope or effort onto one counselor or one kind of spiritual guide, it's too much for one. It's too much to put on one relationship, basically, because most of the work you're doing yourself all the time anyway, and then you check in with your counsellor or your guide or whoever, but it's only for an hour, or it's only for an hour and a half. But the rest of the time you're by yourself, and you need to make sure you've got enough resources and support for yourself. So I learned that the hard way, kind of thing, and then I've reached out to a couple of other people, and what a difference it's made. It's really taken the pressure off, and we're meant to be there for each other. This is going forward, I think we're going to need each other spiritually a lot more as we face more, as the veil is lifted on reality, as more light and truth comes through, and we have more shadow to face. We're going to need more assistance. Oops, there's a text. More assistance with each other. So yes, that has helped. Doing closures has helped. Speaking to other people has helped as well. And just doing my own inner work has helped. And yes, moving through the stages. It's now a matter of making sense of that whole part of my life, part of my creational experience, and what does it really mean? What does it really mean for me? Because I'm not interested in hanging around in that arena and being a victim. I'm really interested in owning it. I'm really interested in my soul sovereignty. I'm really interested in evolving and growing organically and naturally. And I'm interested in bringing all that experience home into wisdom and into love and into an integration process of light and dark. I'm really interested in that, so that I can transcend the distorted paradigm, basically, so that I can unify the separation that all of that experience is born from. It's born in an environment of separation. And this spiritual journey is ultimately about experiencing that separation, remembering it, and now we're on the return leg. We're on the return leg back to wholeness, back to compressing all of that energy of separation back into one, back into the truth of our heart and soul, back into the unity that we actually originally already are. But we went on a journey, a really deep and profound journey of separation, and why would we do that? That's part of the universal journey that we're here for. We're here inside this universe, and every universe has a theme that we choose to go in and experience to the fullest. To the fullest. And I feel like me being in this SSP realm is part of me living out all the potentials that this universe has to offer to the fullest. Wow. And it's bringing it out of the shadows, bringing it out of the cupboard, the under the rug, bringing it out of the dumbs, the underground bases, bringing it out of my subconscious, bringing it out of my cells, bringing it out of my heart, bringing it out of my soul and my relationship with this universe. That is the stage I'm at now, is taking that experience and expanding it. What can it teach me about who I am as a creator, as a universal being? What is the bigger picture? What is the bigger purpose of all of that involvement? And now I'm moving into that stage of the real, extracting the spiritual juice, if you like, from all of my experience that I've had. And bringing it and integrating it into wisdom and into love and into light in myself, an integrated light. That's the kind of process I'm in at the moment. I'm not saying I'm totally there, but moving through the drama, the conflict, the victim, the wounded self, the fragmented self, the altered, all the different alters. And actually another thing I had an amazing healing, and this is what I really deeply wanted, so I'm glad it happened. I got etheric technology implants removed from different parts of my being. That was a very profound thing. Wilson, we've been putting out the call for that experience for a couple of months now, and I guess the timing was right, or whatever, the moment was right for that to happen, and that has made a huge difference to me. It really has. Very, very deep. Very deep. Goodness me, there was implants in my heart. There was implants in my womb from breeding programs. I've had a lot of grief and a lot of sadness coming up around the implants in my womb, because I've known there's been something going on in there for a really long time and I haven't known what it is. So to actually realise what that is for real, and to release it, oh my goodness, that's so emotional. So I'm still working with that, but wow, that was very profound. I had implants removed from my head, the back of my neck. I had a couple on the side, and I have felt some in my eyes as well, which makes a lot of sense because I had an experience once where, I can't remember, I think it was maybe my left eye, it became a bionic eye. Yeah, anyway, I could basically use my eye like a telescope and focus in on something that was miles away. And it only happened once. It happened once a few years ago when I was out hill walking, of all things. And I sat up the hill and I could use my left eye to telescopically look at something many, many miles away up close, like it was a binocular or something. It was really, really strange. But I think it was that coming through. I think it was that remnant or memory, or still the implant in my eye, still active. I had some implants in my feet. My feet have been buzzing. They feel completely different. And the implants in my feet were preventing me from grounding properly. That's really interesting. That makes a lot of sense. Because try as I might, and I do like to ground, do energetic work like that, but it would only go so deep. It would only go so deep and it would sort of bounce up again. So I'm noticing there's a deeper, clearer channel down there through my feet now, which is awesome. Yeah, that was a profound thing, and I'm so glad that happened. That really needed to happen. And I've been using my own inner light, my soul light. I've been using it internally to kind of heal the gaps where the implants were removed. I've been sealing them up, and the cracks, oh my head was sore for days because I could feel the pain, the trauma of where those implants had been. And then it's like surgery. It was a kind of energetic, etheric surgery that happened. And my head was so sore after that. I had to kind of help myself somehow. And I ended up bringing out my light from my soul essence into my head space and the other spaces. And just like I say, healing them, intending for that to be healed with love, filling those areas with my natural love. Pardon me, because I don't want those gaps being filled back in. I don't want any funny business. I'm clearing myself so that I can own myself and be myself. I don't want any other crap coming in. It's not allowed. It is not allowed, but that's up to me. I need to keep maintaining my ownership of my being. I need to keep filling myself with my energy, my will, my intention, not someone else's, mine. Mine, my authority, my words, my spoken language, my truth. I need to fill my being with my truth and not someone else's lies, because that's what's been going on. And with those implants in, and whatever entities have been working me through those implants, they've basically been trying to convince me that I'm something I'm not. It's a lie campaign. It's a constant messages of lies, getting me to do things that aren't true to me, think things that aren't really my thoughts, feel things that aren't mine. Just such manipulation and control. It's astounding to realise the lengths and the depth that the forces that have been trying to control my being have gone to. And, I've agreed. And not even that, I've not only agreed, I've actually contracted them in originally to do that. They've been fulfilling their role that I basically asked them to fulfill before I incarnated. But it's time, it's over, The thing is, these beings will continue to do it. They're very committed to the agreement. They're very committed to what they're doing. And it's only when I say stop and I say no, thank you, no more, that it actually changes. Otherwise, it keeps on going. They're doing their job. They're doing the job that was agreed to do. And they've been doing it for years and years and years. So everyone's very used to it. It's very familiar. Except my being is suddenly I can't tolerate this anymore. I need my light. I'm birthing my true self from within. And all of this structures and all of this limitations and subjugations and control mechanisms, they can't continue. They can't survive this energetic shift that's happening inside my being. And my spirit, my whole will of my being is pushing through all of this. And it's good to really communicate with the beings directly and just to acknowledge the contract, the agreement, that they're there, and also to just, affirm now with my natural authority that it's no longer needed. The contract is fulfilled, the agreement is complete, closed, no longer needed. It's time for you to move on. And if you're feeling love, if you're feeling gratitude, you can also share that as well. It's a longer process than that, but that's the nutshell. That's the nutshell of just communicating with the beings and the entities and everything that you're in relationship with that is controlling you, that has been appointed and assigned to limit and control you. And here's the other bit. Once anyone, but I'll talk about me, once I've done these things, I've enacted a closure, I've said that is enough, I do not consent anymore, I close the arrangement. You need to follow through. You need to keep following through. It's not a one and done. It would be nice if it was. It would be very nice. But you keep being tested. You will be tested to see how effective that was. If you had enough conviction and truth, you'll be tested energetically. You'll be tested by the forces of limitation. I have been almost every day. I'll be tested. Did that really work? Did that really happen? Or is she still a little bit sitting on the fence? Is she still a little bit unsure or uncertain? And I'll be tested to present myself stronger again and again and again. So it's ongoing, and the testing is ongoing. And I do this work with myself, and then I come back into sort of communion or conversation with Wilson, and then I'm tested again. I'm tested to see how much of that, if I truly embodied, how much of that wisdom and that alchemy have I actually done? Because I get tested, and we both do. We get tested with each other. It's part of the dynamic of our relationship. It's this testing of our presence and our authority and our healing process, how strong we are internally, how much love, light, compassion, all of these things. So the work of it is ongoing. It's changing, it's evolving, but it's ongoing. And now for me at this point, it's more about affirming what I believe in, affirming what I know to be right, stating my truth to reality. Putting a voice to it, because otherwise the space of life is filled with all these lies. It's filled with all this noise and lies and illusion and delusion. It's like, nope, I'm going to speak my truth into creation, and I'm going to bring something energetically different, and that's going to help change my being, and it's going to have a ripple effect on the whole as well. And I'll just wind up with one amazing message that I got. Was it yesterday morning? Yesterday morning, when I was, after a busy night of everything that goes on in the night, I woke up in the morning and I got a message from deep, deep inside my being, from my soul, and it said, "Your experiences are your responsibility." It said to me, "Your experiences are your responsibility." And there's something about that sentence that just really goes deep for me. It's a soul message. It's a message about my experiences throughout my universal journey, and my experiences that I've been remembering recently, and my experiences that are to come. They are my greater responsibility. They are the reason. How can I describe it? That speaks to the truth of my soul and the truth of my being. And I'm still pondering that sentence. It's very profound, and I know that it's going to help me with moving forward, and I'm just going to keep pondering it. Sometimes you just get messages or energy or insights that just, it takes a moment to digest. It takes a moment to digest, but I wanted to put that on the camera. I wanted to share that one, see if it resonates with you as well. But it's definitely got something for me about my soul path, and integrating all of my experiences, good, bad, light, dark, distorted, benevolent, loving, the full spectrum, all my experiences, they're all my responsibility. And I have a large responsibility in this life. My being has a large responsibility, and that's what I'm remembering. I'm remembering the scale and the depth of my soul's responsibility in this life. And I'm starting to really, really tune into that and really, really deeply honor that truth. And I know that that is part, I know that that message is going to help everything I need to do going forward make sense, because there is so much more for us to do. Me and Wilson, next year is going to be very different, very, very different. 2025's been a great unravelling, a huge unravelling, a huge releasing. The scale of it's been quite amazing, and it's involved so much surrender, letting go, and learning how to love even deeper and even more than I ever have before, ever. And moving forward, it's more about enacting this love, enacting the wisdom, enacting the truths that have come through all this process and all this internal alchemy over all this time. And bringing a light, being a light, bringing a light, helping the collective process, becoming more externally involved. These are the energies of next year for us. And I'd like to thank you if you've listened this long, and if you've listened to me at all over any of the videos this year. I'd like to thank you. Because it's been a little bit unusual. It's been quite an unusual journey. It's been a very unusual journey, and I'm just grateful if you're here with us on it. Okay, thank you so much. I honor that. And just to wrap this one up, just to say, we're all evolving together. Everybody has their part to play in this. It's this great showdown that we're in, and that's going to continue, and everybody's got their piece of the puzzle, their knowledge, their wisdom. Even if people don't think they do, they do. They do. And we need each other. We need each other going forward. And you also, you need your own love, of course. Need your own love. I'm still learning that one. I'm still learning that one. Why is that one so hard? I'm still learning that one. But it's exciting. It's everything. It's overwhelming. It's saddening. It's aggravating. This process, frustrating. But we're growing. We're simultaneously like growing and dying. We're birthing ourselves, and we're birthing creation. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal, and I won't go into that right now. But let's try and have some compassion for ourselves, because we're doing really deep work, very, very deep work. That's what we're here for. And I appreciate you and whatever you're doing in your own being, because if you're listening to this, you're up to something. In your own world, you're up to something very deep and beautiful and profound in relationship with the earth and the sun and humanity. You've got something going on as well. So honor that. And I love you, whoever you are. And let's just keep on going, keep on rolling with this evolutionary process. Okay, well, thanks everyone, and cheerio for now. I'll see you in 2026 or 2550. I've forgotten what year we're in. 500 years ahead in Thailand, anyway. Wait, 2569. That's the year we'll be in a couple of days. So I'll see you there. Okay. Bye, bye, bye. Thanks. Cheers. Adios. Sawadee ka. Bye.